It's your girl DeeDee, and welcome back to the channel. Thank y'all so much for tuning in once again. So I am back with another reaction video. Now this video comes from a woman who says this is why women are no longer interested in marriage, is because a lot of men wait till they're older and then they look for a woman. And this is part of the reason why a lot of women are opting out of dating and marriages. So we're gonna get into it. Before we do, make sure you go ahead and subscribe to the channel if you like the content, share and like the video as well, and hit that notification bell to be notified when I upload new content. So we're gonna get into it. Definitely chime in the comments below. I want to hear your thoughts on this one. Without any other further ado, let's go ahead and get into the video. Here we go.
Hey TikTok friends, it's your girl Nia. Listen, I have a very specific message for a very specific audience. So if this does not apply to you, then please baby let it fly. This message is for the older fellas, and maybe it's a warning for some of y'all who ain't so old yet. Listen, some of y'all wait until you in your 60s and you got high blood pressure, you got heart disease, you got arthritis, you got a bad back, your little wee-wee don't work like it used to, you done gained all this weight, you can't see good, you can't move good, and that's when y'all are ready to settle down. Baby, listen, we are not interested in being hospice wives, okay? There are a lot of good women out here who are single and who have been ready and able to love a good man, but many of y'all play with our hearts. Y'all got to have all the other women that run around and play games that can't commit and all of that until your health gets to declining. Once your health is bad, then it's like, oh, I need me a good woman. I'm ready to settle down. Baby, listen, miss me with all of that. I'm just noticing a trend. That's all I'm gonna say.
Listen, I agree with her. I think she has a major point. I really think that there are some men have come across good women and they just were not ready to settle down, and they just weren't ready, and they want to, settle down when they're ready to settle down. Men control their relationships and women control their bodies. So it's up to the men to decide when they want to settle down with the woman. But what I have to point out, and like she said, this is a trend, you always hear women talk about men waiting and getting older and then wanting to settle down. But I really just wish that when women address the men, that they would address both sides, because a lot of times women speak as if women don't get older, as women don't have issues as they get older, and that this doesn't affect women. When men say, women, you can't wait till you're in your 40s and 50s and 60s, and all of a sudden now you think you're at your best and now you want to settle down, and you think that men are gonna just run to you and you're gonna have all of these options, they push back. I just want women to also keep that same energy when it is applied to them as well. If it applies to men, it certainly applies to women as well. The thing that I think is the difference when it comes to women and men is that men are looked at in a different way than women are. See, a man could be 50 years old, right? And he could have some issues, or whatever, but more than likely, if he has his money together, if he has things to offer that woman financially, because women look at men as providers and protectors. They look at a man who can give them a lifestyle, a man who can provide for them. So even if you got a man who have issues as he's getting older, he's more than likely to find some woman somewhere who will be with him, because if he can provide for her and give her the life she wants, he can still have a companion. But the issue when it comes to women waiting till they're older, it doesn't apply the same. So women will have a harder time getting a man who wants to commit to them and marry to them when they're older versus an older man who may have some issues, but he's more than likely can get a woman. How many times we see marriages where women leave and typically the man is able to get another wife, but the women have a hard time and they usually end up by themselves. So I just wanted to point that out, but let's continue.
But I will say this, if you think that you can run around in your good years and play with the heart of good people, and waste the time of good people. And then when you're all alone and broken down and by yourself, decide, I'm going to get it together and I'm going to do right by her. And she's going to be okay with driving me to my appointments and picking up my prescriptions. Baby, you might just be in for a rude awakening. I did see recently on this lovely app how they were talking about how there's so many single black men living in nursing homes by themselves. Nobody's coming to visit them and they don't have family. And I'm not saying that's the only demographic that this happens to, but I think it's sad and it's unfortunate that it happens to anyone at all. So all I'm going to say is this: while you run around having a good old time in your youth, messing with people in your youth, think about how that's going to play out and what your karma's going to look like in your senior years. That's all I got. Love you. Bye.
Listen, once again, look, I agree with what she's saying, but that applies to women as well. And I think when women are speaking, sometimes they forget that, hey, we age too. We get older too. There are things that happens to our bodies as well. You're not always going to be fertile. You're not always going to be able to have children. And that's the main thing that men want. They want families. So while an older man, he could lose, his vision could get blurry, which that happens to women as well. As you get older, when you get in those 40s, you can't see as well. So women need glasses. That vision ain't the same. Your body's changed. I don't know why is it that a lot of women speak as if they're not aging. Like these same things don't happen to you. You got to go through menopausal symptoms, things that mess with your uterus and all these things that mess with your female reproductive system. You got to think about that too. And like I said before, I think when it comes to this, while yes, there may be men in nursing homes who don't have family and any of that because they didn't prioritize it, women are in there as well. I could see if there was a situation where all the single men who wasted time were just in there and no women were in there at all. All the women were married with families, and that's just simply not the case. We have a single mother epidemic. We got a bunch of women who are choosing to be single mothers. So they're going to end up by themselves, or there are a bunch of women now who don't even want kids. It's not like all of the women are choosing correctly and they have a husband and they have somebody to share their lives with. More and more women, the older they get, don't want marriage, as they say they don't. They don't want children. They're walking away from that. They're very unrealistic in what they expect from men. That's rendering them single as well. So a lot of them, the ones who don't have children, who don't have a man, any of that, where do you think they're going to end up? So it's not very different from women versus men. But I think men have a better chance in getting a family, because if a man is able to get a younger woman, and if he's financially stable, he's more than likely to get a younger woman, get her pregnant, and still have a family, even in his old age, as he can't see as clearly. And, even if he have diabetes or some medical issues, he's more than likely to get a younger woman, because what women look for in men is not the same as what men look for in women. See, men want a youthful woman, a woman who can give him a family. Women want stability. Women want a lifestyle. They're more focused on the financials. So if a man has it together, he's more than likely able to have that, versus a woman who's older, she will have less options. We got to stop talking about this like this doesn't affect women. If this applies to men, it applies to women as well. This is what women are complaining about. They're getting older and nobody is checking for them. So listen, I want you guys to chime in. I want to hear your thoughts on this one. Comment, like, subscribe. Y'all know what it is. I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.